Many years back, there was a bishop, and he went to his own hometown. So people welcomed with a warm reception, and they were not sure what is this office of bishop is, but they are happy because one of their own son became bishop, and they started speaking to him in the reception. They said, "We are very happy that you became bishop. Now you are very close to God. So we have something to ask. You have authority, and with that authority we want you to suppress one of the 10 commandments." Bishop immediately, without giving them opportunity to express what that commandment is, he said, "10 commandments is of divine nature. No human authority can change it." And there was a great disappointment in the crowd, and bishop has to leave soon because the people were very upset. Today in the gospel, we see a similar situation. Jesus starts his mission. He was baptized by John the Baptist, and he comes to his own hometown, Nazareth. And last week, we heard the gospel from Luke chapter 4. He opens prophet Isaiah and reads the verses from chapter 61. "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, and God has anointed me to preach the good news, to heal the sick, to announce the year of mercy." People were happy, but as Jesus says, the scripture has been fulfilled today. They started speaking to one another, "Is this the child of Joseph? We know him. How come he is telling the prophecy about Messiah is fulfilled?" Familiarity breeds contempt. When we know a person, we think we know everything. So people of his own hometown, Nazareth, they started questioning about his background rather than what Jesus is speaking. Sometimes in our lives too, when we know a person, we stop listening to him. We think we know it, and it happens to everyone. That's how Jesus says a prophet is not honored in his own hometown. In the first reading, we heard from prophet Jeremiah. God says to Jeremiah, "I have chosen you, appointed you to be a prophet. You have to speak my words." Jeremiah says, "I am very young. Please leave me." But God keeps telling him, "Do not say that you are young, but go and tell my words." God calls each one of us. As we see in the Bible, He has chosen us to be kings, prophets, and priests, to witness in this world. Prophetic mission is not an easy task. As Jesus is rejected, we see the apostles, the disciples of Jesus, were rejected, and they were killed, martyred for the sake of the truth. Today, Indian Church celebrates Martyrs' Day, remembering the martyrdom of Mahatma Gandhi, who lived the gospel values of non-violence, standing for the truth. In the second reading, we heard from St. Paul talking about the higher gifts. There are many gifts which we receive from God. And St. James says, chapter 1 in his letter, verses 17, "Every perfect gift, talent, charisms, blessing come from God. But beyond all these gifts which we possess," St. Paul says, "desire for the higher gifts." And he says the highest gift is love, loving one another. And in chapter 13 to the first letter to the Corinthians, beautiful narration of all the characteristics of what love is about. And Jesus showed that love even unto die on the cross. Today in the gospel we see people rejected him and they are ready to kill him. But Jesus goes away because it was not his time. But when his time comes, he spread his arms and he died on the cross for saving all of us from sin. And Jesus, on that night, day before his suffering and passion, he gave to his disciples, to each one of us, only one commandment: love one another. Dear brothers and sisters, let us ask God's grace, this higher gift in our lives, to experience God's love, to share his love to our neighbors, and to live this Christian vocation, loving one another, and when it is necessary, to stand as a prophet for the truth. Let us ask God these graces in our lives as we continue this Holy Eucharist.